Hey, good afternoon, guys. John with New York Metro Weather, back with another update on our potential winter storm impacting the New York City area on Friday. Got a lot to go over, a lot to talk about. We're not going to touch on the weather much today or tomorrow, so stay tuned to our account for more updates on that. The focus is going to be on Friday, and just kind of breaking down where we're at with the storm and what to expect over the next couple of days. So, the storm system is very likely to occur. We're very confident in that. Here's the most recent European model you see on your screen showing that storm system forming just about 24 hours from now, starting to form in the southeast states with snow in the Tennessee, Mississippi Valley region. We talked yesterday about some of the uncertainties with the storm. They still exist today. We still have this disturbance here, so we're looking at the mid-levels of the atmosphere here. I know there's a lot of colors, a lot going on. Here's New York City here. This is the disturbance that's responsible for our storm system. And this is showing you all the vorticity and the spin in the atmosphere, where the disturbances are. You'll notice that we have one here that's forming our storm, but we have another one to the north here over New England. And that disturbance is acting almost like a compressor. So it's sort of putting up a stop sign and not allowing this system to amplify so much and tuck in close to the coast. At least that's what models were suggesting yesterday. Today, they started to back off on that a little bit. You'll see that this disturbance here over New England gets pushed out of the way as this disturbance that is forming our low pressure system actually acts to strengthen and amplify and push it away a little bit more effectively. So, exactly how that occurs is going to determine, number one, how fast the storm can strengthen, and number two, how close to the coast it tracks. If you believe the European model, the storm will amplify and track relatively close to the coast, bringing snow to New York City on Friday, as well as the surrounding areas. But you'll notice if we zoom into the eastern U.S. view here, some of the heavier stuff is just barely to the east of the city, over Long Island and offshore, and then develops into southern New England. If we look at some other weather models, to try to get an idea as to what they are suggesting and what could happen, some of them are closer to the coast with this surface low. So you see, again, this is a Canadian weather model, and it has this one really tight close to the coast, and so those bands, that heavier snow band gets closer to New York City and could be more impactful as the storm evolves. Some other models, just to kind of run you through the different solutions, this is another American model way off the coast with this storm, so it would be a lighter snow event for New York. Basically, what we're trying to get to here is we're still not quite there in understanding exactly where the storm is going to track. If we look at the European ensemble, we can maybe get an idea as to what the spread is like amongst possible solutions. So meteorologists use ensembles to try to get an idea as to what the envelope of possibilities are like. This is the European model, and there's 51 of these guys. They run it 51 times. They tweak each of them individually, and they try to get an idea of what the differences are between the different models. So let's look at the pressure locations on the European model valid Friday morning, and you'll see right here still quite a bit of spread. Some of them have the low pressure inland over the Carolinas, others are well out to the ocean at that point, and that's a couple hundred miles of difference, and that makes a big difference as to where that snow band will set up. If we take the mean of this model, so we average all of them out, this is what it suggests in terms of precipitation. And again, that heaviest banding is just barely to the east of the New York City metro area. And that's something that we've seen on a lot of forecast models, kind of waffling back and forth on where that's going to set up. So at the moment, it still appears likely that New York City will see at least a light snowfall on Friday, starting very late Thursday night and continuing into Friday. Ending by Friday afternoon with light snowfall amounts, 1 to 3, 2 to 4. But the possibility exists, if that low pressure doesn't end up here and it ends up tucked in a little further to the west, that possibility exists that those bands will be further west and will be right over the New York City metro, and that will raise the amounts, into closing in on slightly more significant range. Let's look at one of the models that depicts exactly that occurring, and that's a high-resolution model called the HRRR. And when we watch here, we see that low-pressure area is going to strengthen closer to the coast here, off the coast of Maryland. And that allows these bands to pivot back into the New York City metro area. We can zoom in on them here and show you just what it shows for the city, and we'll zoom into the New York City metro, and you see here's that heavier snow. Even if you look at that 1 hour precip, these are bands of heavy snow in the New York City metro on this model. And so that's something that we really need to consider, is the possibility that this low pressure tucks in a little closer to the coast and that those bands move closer. But again, still a lot of spread on exactly where the storm tracks. We're honing in on it, but it's just not quite certain yet whether this is going to be a light event or a heavy one. Even on this model though, timing, this is 10 o'clock p.m. on Thursday. You get snow coming into New Jersey and New York. The heaviest stuff likely in here between 2 and 5 a.m. And then by the time we get to around 8 to 9 a.m., it's pulling out of the city already. So this thing is going to be in and out of here. The morning commute on Friday though, looking rough at the moment. So plan ahead, leave yourself extra time. And if you're flying out of New York on Friday morning, prepare for some issues and check with your carrier. Let's get over to our latest snowfall simulation, and we'll check out exactly what we're looking for in terms of our forecast snowfall range. Here we are with our latest ranges. They've increased since last time. Central Park generally in the 2 to 5 inch range of anticipated snowfall. Same thing with Newark, but the ranges have extended outward, the minimum and maximum, the maximum being close to 6 inches for New York. Hartford looking a little bit more substantial with a mean forecast near slightly over 4 inches in that 3 to 6 inch range. Same thing with Islip. Generally areas east and northeast of New York. Long Beach Island on the New Jersey shore as well, with Atlantic City a little bit east and having the potential to be closer to those bands, and a little more uncertainty in Trenton and Philadelphia. But generally in New York, a 2 to 5 inch range right now of snowfall forecast on Friday morning. But we see that we've extended those maximums quite a bit compared to our last forecast, closer to that 6 inch mark. And that's where, if that storm does take that track that's closer to the coast here, like this model shows, we'd be extending into that 4 to 6 inch range of anticipated snowfall. So that's the bare bones of it. Again, a light snowfall is almost guaranteed at this point of 1 to 3 inches in the New York City metro on Friday, but the possibility does exist that those amounts will be higher if that low pressure tucks in a little closer to the coast. And we'll be watching for that very closely over the next day or two. So stay tuned. We'll have a lot more updates through tonight and tomorrow morning. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. We're here all day, and we'll have another video out for you tomorrow with our final forecast for this one coming on Friday. Take care, guys. We'll talk to you tomorrow. See ya.